Now this is interesting. It's March 18th, 2022, for the first time ever on New York State media. They show some guy named Lloyd Austin. Never seen him before. He apparently hides inside the United States. What United States? I don't know. What nation state is he associated with? I don't know. But apparently they're claiming he's some defense secretary. Now, why would the U.S., the us, I'm in this, I look like this, I have, I don't know, what do I say, Canadian ancestors? Do I say there's a motherland, fatherland somewhere of people that look like me? Yesterday it was Irish. That's still true. My grandmother came from Belfast. So, or in northern Italy, has to be northern Italy, can't be south of whatever, like right on the border of Austria. So now I'm just curious, how does this United States work when there's a Lloyd Austin? He's got other nation states that are a priority from him. Today they're also mentioning, and the ambassador to the U.S. that speaks and microphones to the UN, which is the Security Council, is also like a family member of his, same nation state, I guess. Could be. So now, and I'll put both photos up. So now I'm just curious how this United States works, since they're not my United States, the United States of within the North America. That's Mount Rushmore, very specific genetic lineage there. It does not originate elsewhere for this purpose. I don't understand how this NATO thing and alliances work. I don't know how the microphone system's working. I don't know why he's not speaking as though he's in UN, because some nations are in agreement with one another. I'm suffering under something called a holy war. It looks like biological germ warfare, whatever. We're in a corona pandemic. People are dying in hospitals, some kind of biologically engineered. It changes the chemistry composition of the inside of the body. I mean, the physiology and the chemistry changed. They made the human into like some kind of chemistry experiment. And then they sit elsewhere, and we're not they're claiming to be US, but I can't agree to that because they're not us. And I don't know if they put us in danger by claiming some seat, or I don't know how any of that works. I mean, who appoints them, who assigns them, how do they get to that position? They're nation states. They're not in the unit states that I got stuff going on in North America. I'm in a North American continent. We need specific help. How is this? Are they running interference and translation issues, equipment issues? Are they preventing the immediate help that I need for several generations? I'm just curious, because now I got photos and proof of what they're calling themselves, but they're different nation states. They're not North American.
Russian missiles fired from the Black Sea hit an aircraft repair facility in the western city of Lviv, near the Polish border. Ukraine is not a member of NATO.
Okay, so this is what they're saying at this point, March 18th, 2022, the day after St. Patrick's Day parade in my New York. This is what they say. This is what they're saying Ukraine looks like. Those are the representatives from Ukraine, just so we have statesmen genetically correct as to what the New York State televised TV is saying they are at this point.
But Poland and several other countries neighboring.
Now, here's the thing. They're saying this man, and this man saluting this man, They're calling him Lloyd Austin and say he's inside of the U.S. as some defense secretary. Listen.
In Ukraine are part of the alliance. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is repeating the U.S.
No idea where that's from. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea why he's addressing these people. Those people don't look like they're related to him. But again, germ warfare's going like a problem in New York City. People are defenseless in New York City at this point because they don't know what or whom to believe.
U.S. is committed to defending all NATO nations.
An attack against one is an attack against all.
Attack against one is an attack against all. Now, how is that going to work in my people are dying? Genetically altered modifications, and your people seem to be the ones administering the chemical weapons. Now, how does that work?
With Russia's advance on the ground stalled by determined Ukrainian...
I've in fact been documenting how what looks like his nation states and United Nations have been administering and claiming credit on the front of the screen. Again, I don't know where help arrives from in paternal and maternal need and states.
Forces, U.S. officials warned the Kremlin is resorting to using long-range missile systems launched from within Russia. A senior U.S. official says Russian President Putin is increasingly isolated and prone to anger. Putin today holding a massive pro-war rally in Moscow, repeating false claims of genocide by Ukraine to justify his war. The U.S. ambassador to the UN with a stark Ukraine to justify his war.
Now here we are. Here's a messenger. She's using this title, but now that's a problem because she doesn't look like Mount Rushmore. She's not. This flag is in New York. So this symbolizes Mount Rushmore and the ancestors of the forefathers in the greenback. So now I'm just confused while in the hospitals and in the biological hazard area of New York City, there's a lot of this looking person administering the chemical weapons and the germ warfare, calling it a vaccine, and then altering and doctoring the results and the research, furthering the problem with confusion. So what I'm not confused about is the rock and the paper and what I look like close enough to what I'm in a North American envelope with Canadian. What I'm confused about is why there's a messenger and a voice inside the UN that's voicing from in OCD, Orient Center Direct, says it's United States, but United States of what? It's not of North America. And that's kind of where this territory is that I'm in at the moment. We're the affected area, infected with something that I'm just starting to piece together based on other significant sounds some of the whatever have made, and now seeing who those people are associated with.
U.S. ambassador to the UN with a stark warning that the Kremlin might...
Who assigns the U.S. ambassador? Because I saw there was a Ukraine ambassador. They looked well, I mean, again, I'm not going into that detail. But I can tell you for sure which ambassador is not representing the correct Mount Rushmore ancestry.
Authorize a chemical or biological attack in Ukraine as a pretext to further escalate the crisis.
We continue to believe it is possible that Russia may be planning to use chemical or biological agents against the Ukrainian people.
Now, I'm just curious, because she doesn't look Russian. She looks typical African, or what they've said that they look like. Caribbean's another word, phrase. Some say South American, some say Central American. I've heard Lima, Peru. Depends on where you go, right? I've heard a couple of different associations. Guyana, big hotspot. What I'm confused about is this messenger service taking on identity theft during this den napping. So now it's a kidnapping, but it's your land while you're in it that the evil tries to take away from you by psychological warfare, by taking on your identities, presenting themselves as if they're an authority, and then furthering their evil, diabolical, maniacal plan. So now I'm just curious, when all the signs point to that's what's going on, at what point in the actual official whatever does help arrive and help take care of the problem in any real sense? Because there are landmarkers. There are remnants still to this moment of what was and what was set up and what was approved. Now there seems to be additions since time's gone on and nothing's really been cleaned up properly. It's gotten worse and more contagious. And now we're at contagion. And now we're at like prisoners of war. And the only next step after German biological warfare is like massive nuclear warfare. Why does everybody just sit around during this period and not try to actively thwart and take down the problems at den napping and biological warfare under holy warfare? I mean, the characters have been laid out. It's clear who they are.
Now, Russia's lead negotiator in peace talks with Ukraine says both sides have made some progress, but that there are still nuances in the negotiations. Reporting live in Washington, Elizabeth Scholze, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Elizabeth. More than 460 guns will soon be heading to Ukraine.
It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. The other thing is on whose shoulders and on whose back. If somebody's coming in a quiet war just to take over, whose shoulders and burdens the responsibility of informing the people until it's too late? I mean, isn't that what the politicians are supposed to be doing? Community, society, where did all that go? I guess it depends on what stage they're in.